today. I'll try turning on my microphone again. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for putting up with my late start today. Once again, sound issues plague me because of setup time and just changing everything over and over again as I try different setups for the show. But anyway, welcome. It's December 6th here in Chicago. That's where I am today. And as usual, as I keep saying, what a week it's been. Every time I come on this show, since I've been starting this thing back in July, I use the phrase, what a week it's been, because it's crypto and everything changes every week. As many of you know, our YouTube channel has been growing and new content for one of our ecosystem partners has been uploaded just about every day. YouTube has great analytics and I'm learning how to use them more as my channel grows. And they finally told me, they filled in a bunch of these parts that said we don't have enough data yet with data. And they said right about now is when a majority of your subscribers are actually on YouTube. So I tried trying the daytime shows for a while, even though I really enjoy the overnight shows and talking to everybody down under and on the other side of the planet. But welcome to Coffee with Striking. I'm having a little coffee here this morning. I've got one of these new Ember things that keep my coffee warm during the whole process. Going through the whole show, and so it's a little late for coffee, I get it, but those of you on the West Coast, it's still early for coffee. But Coffee with Striking is a show in which we can talk about DYOR, DBT, Seek, and I know, I'm just joking about that. But anyway, talk about DYOR, DBT, and Valor, and new ones coming along that we'll be collaborating with. And of course, as usual, we'll hit some news. This show, actually, I decided to highlight one of the new people on our team, Brian, who's our copywriter. And so we're going to be going over some of the things that he started out for to start the process of getting new people into crypto. That's important. If you've heard me talk about the goal of DYOR to educate people and our web app coming out, one of the things that I've always wanted to, or I've always tried to express to people exactly what it is a method to compress the learning time for people. As many of you know, you've been in crypto for months. It took you a long time to learn all about scams and how to stay away from them. If we can compress that learning time to just a day for people, we will bring in hundreds of thousands of people into our ecosystem because they don't have to spend all that time learning. And I'll talk about that later. Today's segments, we have a short show, and they started late, so we're going to kind of rip through the basics of the news. Update on DYOR. Jason gave a nice talk last night that probably most of you listened to. But one of the things I wanted to highlight was some of the things going on behind the scenes, so all of you would get an idea what we're getting accomplished. There's not really any news with Valor because they're still moving on towards their pre-sale. And DBT, we'll talk about them, and at the end of the show, I'll lead into their huddle and let Rich take the show from there. And obviously, as you know, there's been some interesting news in the ecosystem, and Seek has decided to leave us, and so we'll talk about that. And then I have a list here, common cryptocurrency terminology that Brian put together. And I should have gotten Brian on the show to talk about this, but we'll do that for another day when we have more time. So first, as usual, we have people on the Telegram here. And like I always say, I point over here because that is where the Telegram is on my system. And I'll take questions as they come in during the breaks in which I have some time to do that. It won't take a lot today because we don't have a lot of time. And then on the YouTubers here, we have the usual suspects coming in, putting comments up, and I'll address those comments periodically. In fact, I'll do one right now. And Gavin says, "Giddy up, giddy up." I just love the YouTube comments. For some reason, I like them more than I should. Mark Bump says, "Hey, how's it going?" It's going well. It's going well, Mark. I've got, as I say, I got the coffee going here, and I haven't had any food yet. So by the end of the show, I'll be going and I'll be jumping. And Crypto Asura, I've not seen that name before. Welcome to the show, Crypto Asura. Yo, what's up? Sounds like Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. Yo! Matt Stewart in the house. Matt, welcome to the show, Matt. Thanks for tuning in. And we haven't seen Bluetooth Fairy in a long time. Sup, Striking Balls? Good to see you again. I have Bluetooth Fairy has been on our overnight show a lot, and I do forget where in the world you're coming to us from, Bluetooth. So go ahead and drop that in the comments if you would like. And once again, as usual, the Telegram is on mute for everybody, and if you want to raise your hand and ask a question about stuff, I'll take some questions after the news. And I'm going to skip all the news, and we'll just get right into the Seek event. And someone is pinging me here for some reason. Just reminding people that I am on the air. So Chris Green says, striking as it's nearly Christmas. Instead of having coffee, you should have a whiskey with striking. That will be my evening show, Chris. I will call it. I will call the evening shows as I get farther into the Christmas whiskey. I do like my whiskey. I do. Anyway, I see Mr. President's in the house. Mr. President asks, I always love it when Mr. President visits. I mean, where is Mr. President? There he is. Mr. President, how do you like your coffee? I just drink it black. I used to drink it with sugar and milk and load it up and all that kind of stuff. And I worked at an office where it was just inconvenient. They always had crappy creamer, things like that. Finally, I gave up sugar. Coffee all of a sudden tasted a lot better without sugar. It tastes like coffee. Then I gave up milk and I just drink it black. Once you can drink coffee black, then you've made it in life. Then the next thing to do is learn how to drink scotch, and then you've got your man card and you're okay. Anyway, so let's just get into the news of the day. Let me bring everyone back here. The news of the day, obviously, is that Seek has decided to leave the ecosystem. Our wonderful Seekers, who I am great friends with, decided that I should say they didn't decide. Their leader, Rob Browning, decided that that their path for growth in the future and what they wanted to do was different than ours, which is education based. And while obviously we think that our paths are the same, education and anti-scam learning is very similar. As they say, everyone has their own reasons and their own needs. Just like in investing, when you have your own risk level and your own desire of when to buy and sell, how people run their own program is up to them. And so, like we said, we wish Rob well in his efforts or whatever they do and have whatever partnerships they form going forward. But we do know that their services are going to be popular as there is a continued amount of scams, rug pulls, honeypots, and people getting wrecked out there that I'll continue to report on and they'll continue to track down. But I've sat up here over a couple of weeks now talking about how in the chats, and as I've referred to it as the toilet of the internet, sorry Telegram, and everyone hanging out there, but that's where you are. That little discrepancies in management filter out into the chats and become big things. Little things turn into big things, just as they do in high school or junior high or in the third grade. You know, one person says one thing, and by the time everyone's heard about it, they've had their head chopped off and we're moving to Vietnam. And so I always stood up here and said, well, you know, sometimes you hear disagreements in management filter down, but really behind the scenes, everybody's working together and all that. And I must have stuck my foot in my mouth somewhere because I was on my show last week and I said, you know, everything's actually fine. And here's a picture of Disco and Jason in Vegas together, working together and putting on the buy and burn together. And talking about everything was copacetic here. And then the very next day, Rob Browning announces that they're leaving the ecosystem. So clearly I wasn't in the loop there, even though I try to be as a reporter. No, I'm not going to say I'm a reporter. I'm a host of a show. But part of the DYOR team, and they left for reasons that Rob posted, and I asked Rob to for a statement for the show, and he said his statement as posted in his chat stands. And so they decided to go a different direction, like I said, which is fine with us. It was a surprise. It was a surprise to me, a surprise to everybody, a surprise to the team, a surprise to the Seek team too. I heard from a number of the people on the Seek team that they didn't anticipate that. But that being said, going forward without Seek in the ecosystem is okay for this reason. It gives us room to maneuver in that space. And so look for things in the future in our DYOR system regarding rating projects and vetting them, because we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do as we bring on our web app and our walled off garden of projects that I'll talk about in a minute here, because somebody's got to vet and take care of all those. And so as we go ahead in the ecosystem with DBT and still Valor, Chuck has said from Valor has said that he will still participate with us. And while Valor will be standing on its own because it's a kind of a legal issue for charities to kind of they have to stand on their own and report their financials and all that kind of stuff. Their grant application process and all that type of stuff kind of requires them to be on their own. So Chuck has said he is going to stick around with us and help where needed. And I am certainly going to be marketing Valor and talking about them on the media network a lot, because we got a lot of big things coming with Valor. But more importantly, let's take this opportunity now to move from the Seek leaving the ecosystem and how that affects our ecosystem into what we're doing behind the scenes to kind of get ramped up here. It's going to talk about two things. One, a bunch of you have heard about the former CEO issue coming back to life a little bit. It's true. I'm just not going to deny that. We thought we were able to blacklist all of his wallets. We were not, and so there was still a little bit of selling left. But mostly it was as he was taking his own LP that he had some extra tokens out, not from our big pot of LP that we own and Jason controls, but our former CEO did add liquidity in other pairs, in BTC, ETH, some USDT, and USDC, I think. It doesn't really affect us. The total amount is $20,000 or less, and he pulled some of that out, and one of the guys in the community caught onto that right away and thought the world was falling, but really our LP now sits at almost 12% of our market cap, which is great. The fact that the former CEO pulls that stuff out is fine. We'd rather him not mess around because it creates FUD just by him doing stuff. So we are having some meetings. So it's likely, and I believe Jason was talking about this last night too, it's likely we're going to get our new contract up and running prior to the January 15th deadline, because we want to make sure that the new contract is out, and we want to make sure that our former CEO just is completely out of the picture, and we can have a clean slate and move on, because we got a lot of good things coming. And those good things I want to talk about are things that are happening behind the scenes that you don't know about directly, even though you should know about them. One of the things that people always want to know, what's going on? And a lot of projects, nothing's going on. And I got to tell you, in our project, there's a lot going on. I've been on a lot of meetings lately in two main areas. One, a lot of you have talked about marketing. We need to do more marketing. That's correct. One of the caveats we all want you to know is that we don't want to market a lot towards the current token. We don't want to spend a lot of money bringing in people right now just to have them immediately go through the migration process. We want to gear the marketing towards the new token launch and the new token and our road to 200,000 holders. And I keep saying that. Jason hasn't come up with that. I'm just saying that's a good goal for us to have 200,000 holders. And so the marketing, we actually have a lot of good guys now on marketing. You won't see that a lot in the Telegram because most of the nuts and bolts of kind of the development efforts, and I point over here because this is where my Discord screen is, is going on in Discord. And I know most people just go to Telegram because it's an easy conversational tool. But if you really want to know what's going on, go over to Discord and you can see people talking about the development efforts in marketing and the plans we have for revamping the website. We have a number of people from all over the world, guys participating from Finland, from Switzerland, from Texas, said that like it's its own country, and of course from Chicago and in Kansas also, and a number of other places in trying to figure out the best, not just the best new website, there's plenty of templates about that, but the best way to funnel people through it to get the information they need, and that is the whole thing we want to talk about next, and that is our new tools coming out. And while Jason has been traditionally our lead developer and over the past few months has been working on the PooCoin Killer, because of this whole business of the last month, has had to take a break from that just to keep the ship going and upright, which he's done an excellent job of doing. And so it's back into web development time, and I've talked about how he's been bringing other people on to help him, and he's done that. And we're actually putting the word out for more people to help us in the web development. And so probably by the end of the week, I will say we'll have about 20 people, working on in some form or the other on our project. And not a lot of projects actually have a lot of people doing that. And I want you to understand how much we have going on to do that. It is just like a startup company. There's marketing, there's dev, there's operations, there's the media, getting the word out like this, communications, that type of stuff. And it requires money to do all that, which we don't have at this point, as many of you know. That's why we really need this new contract to come on to start generating the tokenomics to fund these operations. To everything from things like this but more importantly, the web development, because that is our utility and where the bulk of our customers are going to come from, whether they're paying customers or whether there are projects that want to support getting eyeballs on those customers or getting customers' eyeballs on their projects by advertising. So we're going to have a lot of people working for us, and you'll start seeing more talk about that, which is good news. It's positive, good news. Say, hey, this is progress being made. And while most of that happens in groups like in Telegram, private groups, or in Discord, private groups, we'll be bringing more of that information out into the public, into the regular chats, just so you can know what's going on with that. And so that's probably, a meeting I participated in last night had to do with mostly marketing, but it was the web dev people and Jason and the marketing people. And it's really good to be just finally seeing progress being made in all of this. And so I'm tying this all back into the Seek thing. So while they're leaving us, it's not necessarily a hole in the ecosystem, because we're already in the process of setting up the processes and the tools for vetting projects. Wes has already developed a we'll call it an AI, but it's not a machine-based AI, it's a spreadsheet-based AI at this point for vetting projects. And he'll be doing all of the DBT project vetting, which he's done a very good job. He figured out that whole ETH vault thing last week or last month or whatever it was. And then also we'll be bringing on methods to greatly enhance the ability to bring in more projects into the walled off garden and the PooCoin Killer. And just to go over it, I do see a bunch of new names on the great interwebs here and in the Telegram. What we're referring to as the PooCoin Killer is that we want to create a safe place for people to invest. Just as you go to an exchange, Bitmart, well, bad example, they got hacked. But at an exchange, generally every project on an exchange is fairly safe. It's been vetted because the exchange has looked into people's backgrounds. They got to be real people with real money to be on an exchange, all that type of stuff. What we want to create is that in DeFi space, in which all the projects that we have available on our website are safe from a scam and rug pull and honeypot perspective. They might be great financially or lousy financially, but they are all safe in one form or another from people needing to worry about them scamming them. And so we'll have to vet a large number of projects. And obviously we'll start first with our ecosystem projects and close collaborators. Didn't realize I had my hand disappearing there. And then we'll branch off into related projects and then start bringing in other ones that want to apply to be on it and prove that they're safe. And everybody on it, in all of the tools, is going to be integrated with the charting system. We've got a development relationship with TradingView. TradingView provides the charts to KuCoin, to Binance, to just about everyone on the planet. All we have to do is put together the back-end systems to merge the data from pricing, from BSC scan, and the charting in order to get those to function, which we're working on. Hopefully, as I always say, we'll have an alpha out soon. Got delayed because of this whole business with the ex-CEO. And so every chart that you bring up, will be a chart. There won't be any Floki Inu Borg things. There won't be... because it'll take a while for projects to get on our system, there won't be any pump and dumps on there. There's not going to be something like, we put in this we vetted, Tomcoin, and then it turns out Tomcoin was just in there for the pump and dump by keeping a low liquidity, and it goes up fast, and then they take all your money and run, and you end up on my Rect show. But anyway. And so that's the basis of it, and I described it very vaguely this time as just a charting application and with various utilities and things like that, just because we're short on time, and I could have an entire 4-hour show talking about it and the efforts to get that going. But anyway, we only have a half hour left, and so one of the things I wanted to talk about before I take questions, or if I actually take any questions from people, is to talk about the common cryptocurrency terminology. Jason was a while ago announced, and I can't remember Brian's last name, but we'll just leave it as Brian N. He's on our website as a copywriter. Jason has a kind of a common background as I do. We both worked in New York a long time ago in the futures and currency markets, as they say back in the day, and then moved on to do other things. And then the world of crypto brought us back in. So that crypto is like the mafia; it just pulls you right in. Jason hired Brian to kind of bring some content to our fledgling group here, and we need that. We need good writing. We need good content. And one of the things that Brian said, he says, let's teach people the basics. So he wrote a paper like this, actual paper, in which he goes over some of the common cryptocurrency terminologies, and we're going to go through those pretty quickly because I'm going to snip this segment out, and put it on the website, YouTube, on our YouTube channel, so new crypto investors can find it and read it as a segment. But before they do that, let's hit some of the YouTube comments. Because, like I say, I love doing that. Let's go. Alrighty. Adita Mikasa says, "You amazing, bro." I'll let you go at that. Let's see what Rita says. "It's been a tough week in crypto, but when it bounces back, it does so fast. That should be part of teaching. So people don't sell at losses, which has propelled the red more across all of cryptos." I can tell you that one of the things in here on the list today is the word FOMO. FOMO is in and out. And I could talk, you've heard me talk about FOMOing in and out, heard me talk about selling one partnership, one ecosystem for another, and all that. And I have a funny meme that I've made myself about when Bitcoin goes down, that it freaks people out so much they run outside and sell their car. It's like, well, why is DYOR going down? Well, Bitcoin went down. What does DYOR have to do anything with Bitcoin? Well, people are running outside. Oh my God, Bitcoin's down. I better sell my car. That's what it's like. FOMO. Anyway, we can talk about that all day too. And Wednesday and Friday, I'll have longer shows because I'm going to be, I guess I skipped this part of my intro. I'll be here Wednesday afternoon. And Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we'll do a 2-hour show, and I'm going to have Ray from Rebel Traders on to talk about their upcoming token launch. That's in pre-sale right now. Actually, I think the pre-sale's closed, and they're in the pre-sale funding stage. And because Ray from Rebel and the Rebel team have put together a very good idea for a new token that's a little different than everything else. Mr. President says he drinks his coffee black, just like me. Ryan Smith says, good morning. He's got the Pink Floyd prism there. I love it. Love it. Tree City West says, hands waving, clapping. There we go. Good morning, Wes. Jeffrey Bristow, I'm tired of using coin. We need something better. You got it. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming a little later than you want it, but it's coming. And it's going to be a charting application you can be proud to leave open. And it's not going to run porn ads, so your 10-year-old daughter doesn't walk by your screen and tell on you. You think they would have gone a better way of having proper advertising on PooCoin. I mean, I realize that they make a ton of money on scam tokens advertising with them. But do you think long term it would have been better to have a proper ad network than whatever it is they advertise? Thank you, Jeffrey. It's definitely time to have something better. But that being said, I'm going to be in the common cryptocurrency terminology list now talking about that. So if anyone does want to raise their hand during that process and ask a question about what I'm talking about, that would be great. We can discuss it, and I can bring on other people if necessary. And if you have a question on something else that we're talking about, or that we talked about earlier, let's save those to the end of the show. First one is, let's just go right into it, and let's see if I can just also bring this up here. So, nope. Apparently I can't bring it up here. There it is. Let's find out if I can do this properly. But where am I? There we are. Common cryptocurrency terminology 101. Okay, I would have this set up a little better. All right, well, the first one, altcoin. What is an altcoin? Well, let's just start it off for YouTube better so we get it. So this part of the show, everybody, today, thank you for joining in. We're going to go over some common cryptocurrency terminology. And for everyone that's watching this on YouTube, welcome to Investing in Cryptocurrency. And we hope you get a little bit about it. Come back to DYOR Media channel after watching this video and learning about cryptocurrency terminology. And check out our other videos because we have a lot of them and we'll have a lot more coming to you in the future. So let's get right into it. There are many terms used in cryptocurrency. I want to thank Brian, our copywriter, for putting this together. Some of which are not included. We're going to talk about these are just the ones we've put together for the show. But these are the primary ones to give all you new investors a head start. Altcoin. What is an altcoin? An altcoin is anything that's not Bitcoin. And there's various shades of altcoins. Like there's the top 100 altcoins that Wes does his show about, Crypto Alt Stars. I suggest you all go and watch his episodes. And Wes will be looking for a new episode soon. And I might add, almost every one of Wes's crypto coin shows, that underlying coin pumps after Wes's show. Almost, I think it might be 100%. So that might be a good thing to FOMO in on. And we'll go over FOMOing in a minute. Airdropping. Airdrop is the process of distributing tokens to wallets. For example, when the network takes a newly created token, is airdropped, like what we're likely to do when we move from version 2 to version 3 is airdrop people new tokens. It's just a way of saying sending to you automatically, and crypto has used the word airdrop because it seems to just drop out of the air. The word blockchain here is confusing to a lot of people because it's some mythical thing. It's especially confusing to regulators because they have really no idea what it is. It's merely a giant database. That's all it is. like the BSC blockchain, Polkadot blockchain, even the blockchain around Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's just a database. And that's it. Every one of your computers that you're watching this on, phone, computer, whatever, has a myriad of databases on it. It's just a method for storing information. The difference about the blockchain is that the way cryptocurrency is done, it's transparent. Everything's out in the open. It's like sharing, like everybody in your whole village that uses the same checkbook. A lot of you don't know about checkbooks anymore. Or same online banking system. Everybody can log into it, and everybody can see what everyone's doing. And the way it works is that it's just like if a community is sharing a checkbook, and you said, I'm putting in $100, and everyone else in the community said, yep, that's right. Tom just put in $100, and we trust that. And then I say I took out $100, and the community says everyone agrees. Yes, and that's how the blockchain works. They have different computers all over the world called nodes and validators, and all of those computers then they see my little transaction saying I am buying, not selling, buying one DYOR, and all those computers agree to it and say, yes, we all agree that Tom did buy that. They record that information, and by a majority of them agreeing, that's how the blockchain, as they say, validates the information. Obviously, that whole thing could be a whole day show by itself, but that's the basics. Happens transparently to everyone, and people, the community, validates that those are true and accurate transactions. A digital asset. Brian has, not every token desires to be a currency, but sometimes only a digital store of value. Digital assets can be fungible or non-fungible. See NFTs below, like a DYOR. It's a digital asset. It's a store of value for the people that have invested in it. It means that they've taken their US dollars or euros or whatever, converted them to something on the blockchain that's worth real money, like BNB or USDT, then use that to buy DYOR, and that's where they're storing the value of it. Fiat. The word fiat does sometimes mean a crappy little car, but it also means it's a term for government-issued currencies like the US dollar or the euro. Fiat is used to describe any currency controlled by a central government bank. And so you hear it in cryptocurrency exchange for fiat. It's based on fiat. Turn it into fiat, turn fiat into this. Fiat is dead, fiat is king. You hear all these things. What they're just meaning is one of the 278 currencies of the world that controlled by a bank. I guessed at that number. I don't know how many numbers there are. Let's see here. Let's just run through the questions real quick. Wes says the next crypto alt stars will be Terra Luna. Buy your Terra Luna now because it's going to pump after Wes's show. That's for sure. Thank you, Wes. I'll look forward to that. Let's see. The next word is FOMO. FOMO means the fear of missing out, and that is when people buy in at the high. When you see that giant hockey stick going up, and unfortunately, we have a lot of people in DYOR that bought at the high here. Generally, they saw it pumping. And then got right into it. And then, of course, the CMC dumpers took effect and sold out, stranding them. And that's what means you FOMO'd into something. You followed other people because if they're doing it, I better do it. And the other thing is the selling. When you see the worst time to sell is when you see the big red going down. And then what happens is you sell also. It may look like that you're saying, oh, thank God I got out now. I mean, if it's a rug pull and you got out when it's here and it goes all the way to here, that's one thing. But almost every project, including DYOR, goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And if you sell when it starts going down, generally what happens, right after you sell, it bottoms out and then goes back up. And so then you've sold, incurred the loss and the tax, and then it goes back up and you have to buy back in. And so selling on the downward cycle does two things. It accelerates the rate at which the price goes down. And two, ultimately it costs you money in the long term. Fork, you've heard this word. It's not just something you eat with. Fork is developers sometimes disagree on how a blockchain should be run. This happens, they create a fork in the network. One developer will use newer software on an existing network And then the older one will be, as they say, put to bed. Ultimately means two incompatible versions of the blockchain emerge. And good examples of that are Ethereum trying to fork into a new version, the new fork of Bitcoin that's coming out. I cannot remember the name, what it's called. Big disagreement on whether it should go forward or not, various sides and all that. And technically, when DYOR goes from version 2 to version 3, that will also be a fork. We're just going to take our old contract, change a few things, move into a new contract, and we'll in essence be doing what's called a fork. FUD, we all know when people say FUD, what does it mean? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's just when people spread misleading information. Gas, what is gas? Gas is the cost of doing business on the blockchain. It's like a sales commission. Remember I talked about all those people in the community that agree that your transaction is valid? They don't do that for free, They want to get paid too. And so the people that validate the transactions get paid a lot of that money for just doing the business of agreeing that that transaction is good. But they incur expenses. They have computers. They need to do that. It's not just free money for them. They have a lot of expense, overhead, and software issues that they have to deal with. Hold on. People use the word HODL here. That as you can see here, if the print isn't too small, hold on means hodl means a couple things. Hold on for dear life, but really it was a spelling error for someone spelling hold a long time ago. And so we're holders, and then we got in more hodlers. I don't like the term, but it just means it's a colloquial term for the word hold. Liquidity, this is one you've heard me talk about a long time, but in its simplest form, liquidity is the ability of the token to be converted into cash or other tokens. Liquidity is important because it provides instant accessibility to access cash. These digital tokens have to be exchanged for money, the fiat or the underlying currency, however you want to talk about it. And that needs to come from somewhere. The blockchain does not create money, does not invent it or print it or anything like that. But it does take your money and redistribute it to people, or take others and redistribute it to you via the liquidity pool. So when you buy and sell, your money goes into the liquidity pool. When someone's selling, it comes out of the liquidity pool. And that's what it turned. Liquidity is just a pool of money in which business can transact. You can think about it in the real world. It's the money in your bank, the cash in your bank. People are coming into the drive-through, depositing and withdrawing. The cash that the bank has in its vault to take in and out, that's the bank's liquidity. And a liquidity pool in a cryptocurrency is no different. Let me see why someone is pinging me here. JCWW, good to hear from you again. Community requesting rights. I'm just breaking in because he tagged me in this. Greetings, Striking and Jetrich. We see a lot of things, said a lot of things at ease in getting DBT, RugSeeker, DYOR all in a live call. This way things are transparent, recorded, and clear of context. Hearing from the source is the best solution. That's not going to happen because the RugSeekers have already left the building, as they used to say in the old Elvis Presley meetings or concerts. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building, and that's what's happened with the RugSeekers. But between DBT and DYOR, you can see the videos of Disco and Jason and all of the calls, in which you can see that we're acting as one nice little smaller ecosystem. Let's see, what else should we go into here? Getting low on time again, as usual. An NFT, what is an NFT? An NFT for me is a giant scam. This NFT market is going to come exploding down at one of these days here. As many of you know listening to me, I don't believe NFTs have any value whatsoever, of any sort. Just of any sort whatsoever. That is different than just a regular cryptocurrency. Anyway, it's a non-fungible token. It's a digital asset that confirms ownership of a virtual good, such as a piece of a digital asset or artwork or something like that. Where I can see them working is that if someone records a song, then applies a MD5 hash to it, so that song is unique, and then they sell it digitally, and then there's a blockchain that records who owns that. And so I can see that. I can see something like that, recording ownership of something. But how the people explain the NFT world is that it is the end all to everything about owning everything, and it's on the blockchain and it's for real, so it must be true. Just remember, you have the deed to your house or the lease to your apartment confirms that you're the renter. That's the paper version of the NFT. The deed to your house is a paper version. The title to your car, it's a paper version of that. Those are all digital now. Those are all the county courthouses, all those digitized. Yet there's still problems with ownership, and that's why title insurance exists. So NFTs are basically just people taking your money. That's my opinion. Other people will say they're the greatest thing ever. And if you don't understand what the word and the real definition of ownership and why you own something is, you have to go back to my discussion about the community agreeing that you own something. Because if the community doesn't agree that you own it, you don't own it. Let's see, stablecoin. What is a stablecoin? Another one. This could go on for hours. A stablecoin is a cryptocurrency that is created to stay at the same value all the time and to be pegged to something, such as a US dollar cryptocurrency. If I were to say the Tom coin is always going to be equal to $1 US dollar, then it would be a stable coin, because it would just say you can take US dollars, change it for a Tom coin, and it's always $1. So it's stable coin because theoretically they're stable in price. We know this not to be true, though, because some stable coins just don't do it as well as other ones. And WEX is a famous blow up of a stable coin. The Titan protocol just totally blew it as making a stable coin, and everyone got wrecked. And so stable coins are basically, what they're meant to be: stable investments that are pegged to something else, and pegged just means equal. A great example is a lot of other currencies around the world. For example, in the United Arab Emirates, their currency, the dirham, is pegged to the US dollar. It's always 3.43 dirhams to the US dollar, doesn't vary at all. And so what the Emiratis have done is they basically created an extension of the US dollar in their own country by keeping their currency pegged to it. And they do that by buying and selling US dollars to keep their value stable. What is a wallet? If you're here watching my show, you already have a wallet, so you know what it is. There's various kinds. There's a wallet for your phone. There's a wallet for your desktop. There's a wallet for, like, individual groups have theirs out now, like SafeMoon put their own wallet out. If you have any questions about that, if you don't know what a wallet is, you shouldn't be in cryptocurrency yet until you do it. We're just getting right to the bottom here. Whale. What is a whale? A whale is just a terrible term for the people that are the large holders of your cryptocurrency. Whales are both feared and respected, Brian writes, among crypto traders because of their ability to move prices with massive trades. Where we see that most is in low cap cryptocurrencies, in which one person comes in and wrecks things. Our former CEO was basically a whale in our project, and he was wrecking the price of ours by selling it too much and affecting it. And as we're watching Bitcoin tank again, Bitcoin has a number of whales. They're not people. They're large institutions now that manipulate the market by selling out a lot. And since Bitcoin has very low transaction fees overall, and no tokenomics, they can sell out at 64,000, drive the price down to 50,000, get some people to FOMO. Also, they count on other people FOMOing. Then the price goes down to 44,000, and then they buy it right back up. And so they have the same amount of shares. They've taken profits, and now they buy it, and the price goes back up. But they also took the money of the people that FOMO sold out. It's called, what people call to it is, thank you for providing the liquidity for me to sell. And so I'd love to have a much larger discussion about that. And the last entry on Brian's list of cryptocurrency terminology is a white paper. And white paper, developers who create tokens issue white papers that provide comprehensive information on the digital token in question, as well as its underlying technology. It's a nice description Brian wrote, but really what it means is people are giving you information that they're not likely to follow through with. Very few tokens have a white paper that they either A, stick to, don't revise, or if it's even truthful in the first place. It's difficult. The best thing to do is to track a token based on its actions. That's what we're telling you guys to do at DYOR. We're going to be releasing all of our new products. And so while we can say we're going to do all these things, and I've sat up here and explained all the people that are involved with it now, the best thing for you to do is sit back and watch what we release and grade us based on our actions. And of course, the white paper is used among scam tokens. They have like one factory in some country far away that's cranking out these websites and these papers, white papers about all these great reasons why Dodge in you Buttborg is going to be the next greatest thing ever. And you read the white paper like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. They're particularly problematic in the music and artistic and gaming business because everybody wants to figure out a way to create a token to nail those industries down. And then, of course, the white paper is great, but really it's a honeypot or a rug project anyway. So anyway, that's what I wanted to go into today's short show, was just some terminology about crypto. And so we can start getting some videos out there. We can introduce Brian's content to the rest of the world. So as you know, many of you have been complaining about our marketing efforts. One of the ways you do marketing is you take new information out, and you get it out in multiple ways. One of those is releasing the paper. 2 is getting someone like me to talk about it online in another venue. And then 3 is you chop that up into small bits and you send it out on social media. And so new people can find it, people that are searching for information about how to learn about crypto will find it. And so while many of these shows we go into the details and guts of crypto trading, sometimes we like to keep it at a higher level. In JCWW wins, thank you for asking that question earlier about that. Wasn't the focus of today's show. I will be on for 2 hours on Wednesday and on Friday also, and I'm sure Jason, chat with Jason, I can't remember Jason, whatever that you're calling your sessions. I didn't have you on today. I thought I could just go over this myself in this quick show. But Jason goes into the details of what's going on with DYOR in the contract a lot. I'll address that in shows also. But right now, since Jason's handling all of that, he's got all of that information on the top of his head. And so, like I said, Wednesday, we'll have more of a discussion about where the ecosystem is going. I'm going to try and come up with a cool guest for Wednesday, too. We'll probably have a little discussion about some of Brian's other papers. He put out another one recently called How and Why the Stock Market Affects Cryptocurrencies. And that'll be a great one to get to understand why Bitcoin moves around and other things move around based on what's going on in the stock market, which is seemingly an entirely different place than cryptocurrency. So anyway, let me just see if we got any other comments here real quick. Just some of the usual suspects here. Thank you for everyone's comments about how you drink your coffee. I appreciate it. We're going to see if the Disco Burn token has got their huddle going yet, and jump over and raid them and say hi. If anyone's got a last minute question here for me, welcome, Joe. Welcome back. Thank you for being a winner the other day in our buy contest. We realized that the price went down after you bought into the contest, and unfortunately, I have to say we had somebody manipulating that in both of our contests. Our former CEO took that time to intentionally sell some products to jam it in us. And just in case he's listening, just so he knows, that'll all be reported to the Internal Revenue Service and the California Tax Board. So they won't be getting away from any of those cryptocurrency gains he made. Mr. Incredible, thank you for joining us. A nice motorcycle there, Mr. Incredible. That is nice. You got those ape hangers up there. I like that. Sheldon, welcome back. Sandy, Jen, welcome to the mod team. Also, Jen, thank you for volunteering to help us out. Tennessee Dad, investing for his children's future. Always a good thing. Anyway, I'm going to take this opportunity to shut this voice chat down, and I'm going to zip on over and open up and jump into the Disco Burn token real quick. So thank you everybody for participating today. Those of you on Telegram, I'm going to be shutting it down. For those of you on YouTube, we're going to go right into the Disco Burn huddle. So thank you, and I encourage all of you to go over and show DBT some love. Even for just 5 minutes, pop in and say hello, because they've got their whole new buy and burn cycle coming up with some new groups, and they should really get your support for that, because they need it as well. So good day everyone on Telegram, YouTube. Hold on.